Moses and Pharaoh. The road to the Red Sea long ago, in the land of Egypt. The mighty Pharaoh ruled with a heavy hand. He held the Israelites, God's people, as slaves, forcing them to labor under the scorching sun, building cities and monuments for his glory. But God had a plan, and he chose a man named Moses to lead his people to freedom. Moses was no ordinary man. He had once lived in Pharaoh's palace, raised as an Egyptian prince. But he left that life behind and became a shepherd. One day, as he watched over his flock in the wilderness, he saw a strange cider bush that burned with fire but was not consumed. From the flames, God called to him, "Moses, go to Pharaoh and tell him, 'Let my people go.'" At first, Moses was afraid. Pharaoh was powerful, and Moses doubted himself. But God promised to be with him and gave him miraculous signs to prove his power. So Moses stood before Pharaoh with his brother Aaron by his side. He declared boldly, "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, 'Let my people go.'" Pharaoh laughed. He would not listen. In fact, he made life harder for the Israelites. So God sent plagues and terrifying signs of his might. The Nile turned to blood, frogs invaded the land, gnats, flies, and disease swept through Egypt, hail fell like fire, darkness covered the land for 3 days. And finally, the worst plague of all, the death of every Egyptian firstborn. Only the Israelites, who marked their doors with the blood of a lamb, were spared. After this final plague, Pharaoh could no longer resist. In sorrow and fear, he finally cried and said, "Go, take your people and leave Egypt." So Moses led the Israelites out, hundreds of thousands of them, walking away from slavery with joy and hope. But Pharaoh's heart hardened once again. He gathered his army, mounted his chariots, and chased after them. Soon, the Israelites found themselves trapped. In front of them lay the Red Sea, deep and wide, and behind them thundered Pharaoh's army. The people panicked. "We're doomed," they cried. "Why did you bring us here to die?" But Moses stood firm. He raised his staff and said, "Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord." Then God did something miraculous. The wind roared, the sea trembled, and the water split apart, towering like walls on either side. A path of dry ground appeared, stretching across the sea. With awe and wonder, the Israelites marched through the sea, a highway in the middle of the waters. Pharaoh's army chased after them. But as the last Israelite stepped onto dry land, Moses raised his staff once more. The walls of water collapsed, and the sea swallowed the Egyptian army. The Israelites stood on the other side, safe and free at last. They lifted their voices